Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is the greatest time of the day. From the center of the universe, New York City, it's the main event you've been waiting for. It's time to go in the cage with CYCLONE.
And your Messiah has come home. We should be having our big guest any minute. Fingers crossed everything's working.
Hello?
Hey, Roy Nelson's on the phone. Big Country, how are you, sir?
Pretty good. How you doing?
I spoke to Justin Wren not too long ago, and he had mentioned your name when I said, is there somebody on your radar that you'd be interested in? So he said to me he's interested in you.
That's awesome that I'm still on his mind.
Now,
anytime I can get a fan to still think about me.
good point. Now, MMA fighters have started transitioning into the world of pro wrestling. You have a wrestling background. Is that something you'd ever consider doing?
Yeah, it's crossed my mind. I've dabbled with it a little bit in the past, but right now it's definitely because wrestling is definitely hard on the body, so it's trying to figure out what's try to put fighting or professional wrestling. What's more important right now?
Now, look, let's be honest with one another, Roy. You happen to be a very charismatic human being, okay? And you've done a little bit of, the Hollywood thing with the acting. Looking long term, do you see yourself maybe going that direction?
Yeah, no, I think anything that allows me to entertain the fans is something that I always find, very interesting. And as long as I'm having a good time, I think that's the whole point of like when you go out there and have fun, doing what you love, regardless of what it is. Like, either going out telling a joke or just, putting on a knockout or, just putting out good material where people are like, oh, dude, that's awesome.
Well, look, you are one of the more interactive MMA fighters throughout all the, MMA, through the UFC, through Bellator, through One Championship, through them all. You do the Mailbag Monday and Wednesday wrap-up. How did that stuff start?
On the Monday mailbag was basically I just got a lot of always requests of different stuff, and I just wanted to be able to interact a little bit more because I used to do it with Twitter because Twitter was a lot easier, kind of like to go back and forth, kind of like a text message.
Right.
But then the whole social media kind of switched over. It used to be for Facebook, and then now it's Instagram. So I had to go back to Instagram because Instagram had stories, and it was just one way to kind of get more fans involved and allowing fans to be able to interact with me, especially with, the generation style. You know what I mean? Because like before, like the older group is Facebook, the middle ground's Twitter, and then the younger group is Instagram because, with a bit more videos and more pictures.
Right. Well, look, Roy, I want to thank you very, very much for giving me a couple of minutes of your time. And I think we should get you back on a card, if not at the Garden, back at Mohegan Sun.
No, I'm always trying. Hopefully, I'll be able to have some news soon and be able to post it. Hopefully for my next fight, because I'm trying to shoot for June.
Well, cool, because the second you let it out, I will spread the word out through everybody on this side.
I appreciate that.
Well, Roy, I want to once again thank you so much for giving me a little bit of your time. I really do appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me.
All right. Thanks a lot, Roy.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye. And how cool was that? Couple of minutes, now that I'm dealing with higher end guys, the restraints of time, a little bit more professional, can't do a 30-minute interview with everybody. The name isn't Ariel Hawani, I'm not at ESPN, so we take what we could get, right, folks? So that was fun. That was cool. That put a smile on my face, and that doesn't happen too often. We're going to decompress a little bit. I'm going to start to breathe once again, because I stopped breathing for a while there. I want all of you guys to please click share. Check out CycloneComedy.com and EffectiveAggression.com. And guess what? Really soon on EffectiveAggression.com will be this glove, signed by one of the kings of late night, the Chin, Jay Leno himself, right here. Yeah, I think that's it. I can't reach. I got T-Rex arms. So, right there, Jay Leno. It'll be on EffectiveAggression.com really soon. Check it out. Check them out. And we'll start this whole big shindig up right after this.
This is Frank Edgar.
This is the Barbarian Tim Bosch.
I'm World Series of Fighting undefeated lightweight champion Justin Gaethje.
MMA legend, UFC Hall of Famer, Iceman. Check it out. If you got the guts, step in the cage with Cyclone.
And yours truly is back. I mean, like, where else am I going to go? Car's parked. I might as well stick around and talk to you guys. So, obviously, we just had Roy. Let's change things up a little bit. Talk some female boxing. Some of the ladies in doing the sweet science. The three top ladies right now, okay? Hands down, 1A, 1B, Cecilia Brækhus, Clarissa Shields, and also Christina Hammer. Those are the top three. You put Cecilia Brækhus at number one, and the other two are so close right there. That's unprofessional. You know what? I'm gonna have to make like a cough button for myself. Anyways, so Clarissa Shields improved herself this past weekend because she absolutely ran right through Nikki Adler. she said she wasn't going to go to a judge's scorecard. Not only did they not go to a judge's scorecard, she finished her in the 5th round, and rounds 3, 4, and 5 going into the 5th round. The ref goes into Nikki's corner and goes, "You got to show me something or I'm stopping this fight." And, I mean, look, Nikki had what should have been solid defense. You know, the hands up, the gloves up like this. But everything Clarissa threw, right through her defense. Solid jab to the face, solid jab to the body. Hooks on both sides of her face. Just wrecked her. Finally, middle of the 5th round. Actually, it was 134 of the 5th round. Ref jumps in, stops it for the TKO. And look, what happens now is Christina Hammer and Clarissa Shields now get to unify the female middleweight title. And not only are they going to unify the belts, okay, women's boxing doesn't really get the oomph it deserves. I don't know if you want to say the sport is sexist or what the reasoning is, but women boxers just never get a fair shake. Well, they're putting this unification title June 1st. Undercard to the Anthony Joshua Jarrell Baby Miller fight at the Garden. Now look, that right there is going to put more eyes on Clarissa Shields. And I don't know anyone who likes combat sports that doesn't know Clarissa Shields. 2-time Olympic gold medalist. She is, as far as the pro is concerned, she's now 4-0. I mean, the record's not like mind-blowing, but everyone that's been put in front of her, she's taken out. That's what's important. Christina is definitely the toughest challenge for her, and it goes back to the Olympic Games that she was in. She is, I mean, if we put Cecilia Brækhus at the top of the mountain right now, as far as women boxers are concerned, Christina Hammer is like, oof, like right here, like it's that close. Clarissa deserves the shot. She has the name, she has the hype. That's what's getting her to the next level. If she somehow manages to beat Christina Hammer at the Garden, wow. That's going to be something that everyone is going to enjoy. That's going to be something that everyone is going to be talking about. Okay, regardless of Anthony Joshua and Big Baby Miller, the two ladies can very easily steal the show at the Garden. Now, guys, hook a brother up. Click share. Okay? The Facebook page, Psyche Prods, PRODZ. You could enter this raffle to win a prize. You could enter the UFC pay-per-view, even though there really aren't pay-per-views anymore. The big cards, you could enter to win a prize there too. It's non-stop giveaway prizes. Why? Because I love you. I love the support. See, it's supposed to be simpatico. You know, you guys support me, I give you guys stuff. And who doesn't like free stuff? Seriously, who doesn't like free stuff? Now, when we come back, I have some breaking news. We'll talk some MMA. We'll talk about me. And, once again, guys, effective aggression and all the fun stuff will start right after this.
Hi, I'm Jim Miller.
This is Dan Muragliata.
I'm Derek Brunson.
I'm Nick the Carney Lentz, and you're locked into the cage with Cyclone.
Alrighty. So, 45th show. 45 times. Hope all of you had a good day. Me, healthy 2 weeks in a row. Except now this cough. I assure you guys, I will be back next week. I'm not coming down with a cold. I don't know what it is. All of a sudden, I'm coughing up a lung. But I got some news for all of you. I want to thank Keith Fitz and his wife for inviting me to be part of his roast on Saturday night at Lala's Flea Market out here on Long Island. And I haven't done stand-up for a little bit more than 3 years. Okay? I walked away from it, said I don't want to deal with it. There's too much politics. Sort of like a lot of fighters are saying that there's a lot of politics in fighting. And I just don't want to deal with politics. Although I kind of do like politics. I just don't want to deal with the politics of doing stand-up. And I had a nice long talk with Pauline Murphy, another fantastic comic there. And almost everything I said hit. Everything got a good laughter on Saturday night. Got to finally meet Penny Rositi, John Santo, a bunch of comics, and Jessica Colazzo also. And I've made the decision that I'm coming back. I am returning to stand-up. I don't know. Jen, I don't know why. Don't woo-woo. I shouldn't be doing stand-up anymore, for the love of God. I don't know how Joe Rogan does it. Joe Rogan does 100 things more than me and does stand-up. I don't know how he does it. All I do is stay on Facebook and stuff my face with food. And I don't know how I'm going to have the time. I don't know why, but I got that itch to do stand-up again. And it's a shame that CVS doesn't sell like a cream to fix that itch. But, yeah, yours truly. So, coming soon to a comedy stage near you. Keep your eyes open. Yours truly will be on it. Hopefully not falling through it. So, some breaking MMA news as of, like, 40 minutes ago. Not only am I back to doing stand-up, Uriah Faber is now coming out of freaking retirement. You know, I kind of think there should be a rule in place where if they put you into the Hall of Fame, no matter what, you cannot come back. A Hall of Fame is the period at the end of a career. You don't get to start a new sentence afterwards. At least I don't think so. I really, really am against it because, look, like I talked to Roy Nelson about CTE, you know, I don't want to see him get punch drunk. I love Pauline too, Dennis, and that's why I drove her home. I'm only kidding. I drove her home because I didn't want her spending 15 hours on mass transit, so I brought her back. Hey, Gina. So, anyways, Uriah Faber's coming back. I can't believe it. Man. And I think he's coming back because of the whole TJ Dillashaw situation. If TJ Dillashaw was still not suspended or still champion, and I don't see him coming back. But being that he's out of action for a year, I guess that's one of the reasons why Uriah is feeling the chutzpah, the urge to come back. I don't know why I'm feeling the urge to come back to doing stand-up. Moving along, Derek Lewis announced today that he is finally, after needing surgery on his ACL in his right leg for 4 years. Think about that. Derek Lewis is a big heavyweight. The amount of weight on his body is the amount of pressure on his kneecaps and his legs. He's needed ACL surgery for 4 years and he's put it off. And he's finally decided to go in and get cut open. You got to give this guy credit. If between his bad back, which is everybody knows about, his back is like legendary of constantly going out on him. I don't know. To be able to fight, to be able to live 4 years with a ripped up ACL, really? 4 years, bro? A bigger pain threshold than I got, and I thought I was crazy with threshold of pain. Conor obviously started demanding once again shares in the company. Now here's the thing about Conor. You guys have to understand. The Miami Dolphins, the Green Bay Packers, okay, are just two of the sports organizations that celebrities and athletes own stocks of. The UFC, everyone that is an WME-IMG client, all those actors have stock now in the UFC. Conor McGregor owns 4 of the top 5 pay-per-views. Okay? Those numbers all belong to Conor. He makes the company money hand over fist, whether he's doing criminal acts or not. If he doesn't get shares, I think that's a crime in itself. And as far as every other fighter in the UFC is concerned, saying, oh, Conor doesn't deserve, Conor doesn't. Guys, if Conor gets shares in the company, that opens up the floodgates for all of you. It's one thing I've never understood about not only just MMA fighters, but combat sports athletes. Maybe it's the punches to the head. They're very, very short-sighted, and that's coming out of my mouth because I'm short-sighted. Look, once the floodgates open, it makes it easier for everyone else. Now, as far as Conor's next fight is concerned, once again, there's 15 options. There's Trilogy against Nate. There's Max 2, Dustin 2. Ali Akinta has called him out. Tyron Woodley has called him out. Jose Aldo 2. There's Khabib 2. There's the winner of Justin Gaethje and Edson Barboza up for grabs. Cowboy. Pettis. You can throw a dart at a dartboard. This is how they should decide Conor's next freaking opponent. Put numbers on a wheel and spin it, and boom, let it be decided that way. Because all of them are good matchups. Conor doesn't need to fight for a belt. When you're that big, you don't need it because you're going to make the money anyways. So titles be damned. You can pick an opponent out of the air. The one who I don't like is Tyron Woodley. Woodley has enough issues at the guys at welterweight. Now, look, big things that happened this week. Obviously, the off-the-cage Superman kind of left hook from Pettis to Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, knocking him out. Huge. But here's the problem with Anthony Pettis being at 170. Woodley's at 170. Ben Askren, 170. Anthony Pettis, 170. You got 3 guys, technically speaking, in the top 10, top 15, if you count Pettis, that don't want to fight each other because they're teammates. That's clogging up the division. Another thing I don't understand about combat sports athletes, about not fighting teammates. Look, you could be teammates outside the cage, in the gym, no problem. Go out, have a beer with each other, have orgies with each other's wives. I don't give a damn. But when it comes to getting in the ring, in the cage, putting on the tape, and throwing hands, teammates should have to fight each other. After all, you always say you want the title, you want the belt. Well, guess what? If one of your teammates has a belt and you want it, end of the day, you got to fight for it. Not, you know, he's my teammate, I'm not going to fight him. What is that? I don't get it. I wish one of you hit me up and explain it to me, because I don't get it. Team Fedor, 3-0, 1-2-3-0 in Bellator 218 this past weekend. Vladimir Tokov winning by unanimous decision over Ryan Walker. Big brother Anatoly Tokov just... Here's the thing. Greg Harris had him in trouble a good portion of the fight. Up against the cage, locked in, gable grip, guillotine, over. Congratulations, the Tokov brothers both win. And then on the main card, Vladimir Moldavsky really putting a monkey wrench. Now Roy mentioned, you know, Czech Congo getting Bader first, possibly. Linton Vassell had a path to face Ryan Bader. And with Vassell losing to Valentin Moldavsky, puts a monkey wrench in Linton Vassell's hands now. So I don't know if Scott Coker would even consider Linton Vassell against Bader now. Now that Linton's on a consecutive losing streak, don't know. Don't know if it makes sense. Because if it doesn't make sense, it don't make dollars. Or however that saying goes. You know, I'm not hood. I don't remember. I think that's what the way it goes. So, also, I do want to give a props out to Macy Barber. Getting tested, getting banged up early and often by J.J. Aldrich. Coming back and winning. The great thing about Macy Barber is she has sworn she will become the youngest UFC champion ever. And she has an alarm on her clock to the second that John Jones became the youngest champion. She wants to beat that. Look, when a 20-year-old female is that laser focused, I don't think there's anything that could stop her. But you know what? We're going to stop here because we got to take a quick break. So, guys, click share, will you please? Not only that, guess what? In a little while, Pinups, Cool Cats, and Comics swings on in here. And obviously, I'm going to say it again. Jay Leno, one of the kings of late night TV, right there. EffectiveAggression.com. Check it out. And we're going to start wrapping up with a bunch of games right after this.
I'm Dennis Bermudez. Hi, I'm a creepy Ian McCall.
Yo, I'm Kelvin Gastelum. This is Mark Goldberg.
Yo, I'm the world's most dangerous man, Hall of Famer Ken Shamrock, and you're getting tapped out in the cage with CYCLONE.
anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary.
And on this day, I can only find two things. Easy day, right? Tom English, longtime fighter, I think he's fought in just about every organization. 45 years old today. And Sabina Mazo turns 23. Obviously, she's fighting this Saturday in Philadelphia, as I like to say. 23, wow. Now remember, way back when, long time ago, I told all you guys, Sabina Mazo from the LFA is going to be in the UFC. Mike Jackson on the phone here on this show agreed with me. 2 days later, she's signed to a UFC contract. I'm just saying. You know, I'm like that chipmunk that sees his shadow. I'm usually always right. So that's all that happened on this date. Now, you know what we haven't done in a long time? We have not done a spotlight. So, therefore, I thought today would be a good day to put the spotlight on a very interesting fighter. And here's the spotlight. See, we got to keep it short. This way we don't get, I don't get popped for having, other people's music. Anyways, Elaine Ngannou, here's the thing about him. You see how huge this guy is? You see how huge he is? First of all, Kamaru Usman's talking about how many Nigerian fighters there are. Elaine fights in one championship, and he is obviously, as you can tell, a beast. But he didn't start out like that. When he was a kid, he got bullied and he got beat up in school. And he went crying to his mom. And instead of going to the principal, what his mom did was took him to a karate school. And that's what started him on this path to ecstasy, if you will. Not that he's doing ecstasy, but it's a path to enlightenment, the martial arts. I, on the other hand, should be doing some X. I'm kidding. If any police are listening, I'm kidding. I don't touch the stuff. Anyways, he built up his body. He became a 4-time Muay Thai and kickboxing champion. He decided that he wanted to go into MMA. He told his parents about it. The ones that sent him on the yellow brick road in the first place. And his mother wanted him to stay in medical school to become a doctor. She was against him fighting. Bad move, mommy. You put your kid on that type of path, what do you expect? Seriously. The guy's just a beast. Now, someone that size, he's had a couple of issues with guys that are not that jacked and are faster, and he has some problems with jiu-jitsu because he's been burned a couple of times by smaller size guys on the ground. But this guy is someone just on size, just not that he, Dana would be interested, but if for any reason whatsoever they wanted another heavyweight, I think he would be a good fit for Bellator, to be honest with you. He's a solid fit at one championship, but put the Panther in with the heavyweights in Bellator, and things could be quite interesting because with the exception of Bader and a Justin Wren and a Roy Nelson, the rest of the heavyweights they have are just bangers. They don't like to go down on the ground. Could be a place for him. There really, really could. But that is just another African fighter that Kamaru, Kamaru said, between him and Ngannou and this one and that, and Efe in boxing, there's a lot of African fighters that are coming, and the floodgates are about to burst open because there's a lot more on the way. So, that, my friends, was the Spotlight Fighter of the week. Now, for everybody's absolutely favorite part of the show, let's do a raffle. Alrighty, I was in a rush, so I wrote everybody's questions on a tiny piece of paper this time, and I hope my eyesight holds up. But question number 1 comes from Brandon May. Is the UFC doing the right thing by not taking action against Jorge Masvidal? Well, you know what, Brandon? I think behind the scenes, I think they tagged him with a fine. I can't see them just letting a fighter walk up to another fighter, slugging him and busting him open. I can't see it. I think the security detail that was there that did absolutely nothing till after the punches were thrown, I think they could either be going back to like security guard training, maybe fired, maybe suspended, something to them. But I really think the UFC slapped Jorge with some sort of a fine under the table, like a $10,000 or $5,000 of don't you do that again, something like that. And they'll keep it in-house. They're not going to let things like that out to the public. Moving along, question number 2 comes from John James, who is the defending champion of the Facebook raffle. What do you believe is more likely to happen? Moraes to become bantamweight champion, or Andrade to beat Rose to become the new strawweight queen? I think they can both happen. More likely, I like Andrade to run right through Rose. And look, I love Trevor Whitman training Rose. I like Rose is on the ground. She's solid. But Jessica Andrade is she's another level beast, man. Jessica Andrade right now is so red hot. It'll be kind of hard to not go with that. And I think what would happen sooner is obviously that fight is before Moraes can get a title shot. So, and nobody knows what's going to happen to the bantamweight division. Anyways, personally, I would like to see a Grand Prix tournament. It's worked for the PFL. It works for Bellator. Basically, one-off fights are a giant type formed tournament. Why not do a tournament? This way, you have fights set up for all the extra cards that you now have, UFC. That's the perfect way to solve the bantamweight championship problem. Is a tournament. See? Once again, I'm playing matchmaker because that's what I do so good. Question number 3, Rudy Asher. Do you think the UFC should give Cejudo the vacant belt, the vacant bantamweight belt, being he beat Dillashaw? No, Rudy, not at all. You can't just give someone a strap. This isn't the WWE. If that was the case, here's the deal. You could give the belt to John Dotson. You could give the belt to Sun Tzu. You could give the belt back to Dominic Cruz. All 3 of those guys beat TJ too. So, I mean, if you're going to pick whoever beats TJ gets the belt, well, you have plenty to choose from. No, once again, like I just said 5 seconds ago, I want a tournament, damn it. It's the smartest thing. I don't know why the UFC is so against it. I don't know why. It's a freaking genius move. Question number 4. Brian Joseph Horan. The soon-to-be married Brian Horan. Congratulations, you lucky SOB. Do you see Daniel Cormier fighting? Do you see DC versus Brock actually happening? No, I really don't. I think Brock is so oomph with the WWE, and what? His contract is up after April 6th at Mania, or April 7th at Mania. There has to be something in the writing of the contract that he can't just one off. If he's going to fight DC, he has to stay 3, 4, 5 fights, something like that. At minimum 3 fights, I'd want him locked up for it. Otherwise, if it's going to be a one-off, no, I really don't. And like I've said 100 times, I want to see the rematch, DC against Stipe, or if not that, see DC John at heavyweight. That would be fire freaking works. But that's just me. Question numero 5 comes from Kenny Hodgkins. With Conor taking shots at Holloway, Dillashaw, and rumors of Cowboy and Khabib, again, who do you think McGregor fights next and when? Well, when? I think they're going to hold Conor either for the Garden in November or the end of the year in December in Vegas. Those will probably be the most likely, because remember, we don't know what his punishment's going to be in Miami, you know, now that he's done with the punishment in New York. Who would I want to see Conor face? I was really excited for Conor Cowboy. I really, really was excited for that fight. I just don't know. Him against if he fought the winner of Gaethje against Barboza, God, I don't know, because both those guys are true warriors, and they both could beat him. You know what? I know who I want to see Conor fight. Get this Nate Diaz trilogy done with. Okay? It's time. I mean, hey, Diaz today was calling out Conor, Khabib, Pettis, and a couple of other guys too. So everyone's good at calling everyone out, but no one's good at signing contracts. And I'll tell you what, if I was a matchmaker for real, and I see 2 guys calling people out, but they don't sign the contract, I say, you know what, go fight for another organization. You calling people out and you don't have the cojones, the chutzpah, the conjoles to sign the fight bout? Come on. Sign the damn thing. Put some hustle behind this muscle, as was said in Rocky V. So now let's see who wins this raffle. It is going to be numero 1. Brandon May. Long time since you've won, sir. Congratulations. You, Brandon, are a winner. Your prize will be mailed. I can get it out tomorrow. It will be mailed to you tomorrow. So, keep your eyes on your mailbox, Mr. Brandon May. Now, coming up this weekend, is a lot of MMA action. Just about every organization is live this weekend, including, folks, keep your eyes open and peeled for this. The one championship debuts of Eddie Alvarez and Demetrius Johnson. It goes down this weekend. And I will be back on Monday to talk about it all. And everything else that happens in the wild, wacky, messed up world of combat sports. So until then, I am Cyclone, reminding you, In a little while, Pinups, Cool Cats, and Comics stops by, and just because you are not an athlete doesn't mean you cannot be an athletic supporter. Bye-bye.